Hey guys, Jake here with Bearded Gear. That's not my intro. What actually is my intro is this is Chris with Renegade EDC, and today I am bringing you the first knife review done on this YouTube channel. So there's only one other video on this YouTube up, and it is a video version of a podcast. And I hope if you like this content, you may go back and look at that video that's talking about challenge coins, how they started, why we carry them, what they are, and then a little background into some of the challenge coins that I like to carry on a day-to-day basis. But in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Vero Engineering Synapse XL. So this Synapse XL I purchased in black micarta. There are a number of different handle materials and colors available. They have, I believe there's a red G10, you have multiple micarta colors, and then you also have the in-cut carbon fiber. I'm a huge fan of micarta, how it ages, how it changes, how it patina. So that's what I ended up going with. So let's talk a little bit about just the broad points of this knife. So the blade is a drop point flat ground blade made with M390 blade steel, which is an absolute favorite of mine. Nice, good, dense, tough steel that is really good at holding an edge. It's a really good working blade. Some people claim that it is a little difficult to sharpen. I actually do not find that at all, but with a slight caveat, I do have a rather high-end sharpening system with the Wicked Edge Pro series. Wicked Edge Pro. That does make sharpening quite a bit easier for me than it would somebody hand sharpening on a whetstone, diamond stones, using a KME, using an Edge Pro Apex, something like that. The Wicked Edge does make everything seem pretty menial and easy to do. Reprofiling edges, holding that edge, a tangent aside. So I have absolutely no trouble with sharpening this knife or any other knife made with one of these super steels, M390, LMAX, Van X, any of those type of blade steels. We have a titanium bolster with the micarta handles. We also have a titanium frame inside that the micarta handles are mounted on, and then a titanium backspacer and the kind of patented Vero clip that we all know and sometimes love. Sometimes. This knife is impeccably made. So you really have two primary deployment options. You have this little V spot as the Facebook group likes to call it. Very functional for use with your middle finger flick. Very easy and effortless to do once you figure out how to do it. And this was one place where when I first purchased the Gen 1 Impulse, I had a bit of an issue when it came to not only flipping it open using the flipper tab on the back, but also using this little cutout to flick it. So the main point with this, so you can see my thumb here, you have your thumb in a V shape. You're going to place the knife in there so you've got a good pinch, and then I will typically take my index finger and rest it right up against the bolster, not putting any kind of force on the bolster lock. You want to keep your finger out of the way of that, putting your finger on and flicking it. And you've got to think just like flicking your finger like this is how you're going to flick open this knife. So you're just putting enough pressure on the handle to really get a grip on it and flip it out. The other thing is the flipper tab, which Joseph has done a fantastic job in the additional iterations or the other knives that he has produced, where he's really made the flipper tab work a lot better. The Impulse Gen 1, which would be my first knife into his platform, I noticed that when you would pull straight down along the spine, that there was a bit of a pinch point that would occur right in this section. It was just a little inconvenient, and sometimes that pinching of the finger, especially when you're fidgeting with the knife for a very long period of time, it would get to the point where the tip of your finger would feel a little bit raw. Talking with some friends in the Instagram community where we talk about and review knives, they happen to inform me that it's more meant for the pull out and away from the knife than it is to pull straight down the scale. Once I figured that out, the knife became a lot more appealing to me. I have pretty well done everything in my power to make sure that I get every one of Joseph's knives that he releases, just because after I understood the Gen 1 Impulse, I really fell in love with it and the platform. So these knives come exceedingly well tuned. Not only are they QC'd by Best Tech, but Joseph does the due diligence to go through and QC them himself as well before shipping them out. So you know that you've not only had the production crew QCing them, but you also have Joseph meticulously going through each and every one of these before they get shipped out to our door. So when I received this knife, it flipped effortlessly. You could go right into the 5-finger flicks, including the thumb and the middle finger and the ring finger and the pinky and all of those things. It's absolutely fantastic in every way, shape, or form. First thing that I did when this knife came in was completely disassemble it. I am a person with an engineering mindset. I'm a building inspector. I pretty much visually disassemble buildings, homes, commercial structures, mechanical workings all day, every day. That's just the kind of thing that I do. So when it comes to my knives, even though they don't need cleaned, serviced, or anything like that, the first thing that I do is I take them apart, I clean everything, I put my lubricants into them, and then I kind of tinker with them until the function and fit is exactly what I want. With the Vero knives, it's not required in any way, shape, or form. They come exactly how I like them to be. They flip easy and all of that. The bearings that are inside are nylon caged ceramic bearings, so they actually don't require lubricant. And I just talked with Joseph the other day just a little bit about this. Like, why do you go with the nylon caged bearings? Like, is there a cost reason? Is there a function reason? Like, what is it? And he mentioned to me just a little bit that he prefers to run his knives dry. So there's not any lubricant in the pivot, which is a fantastic idea. By not having lubricant in that pivot, you also minimize the amount of dirt that's going to collect into that pivot. You don't have a binding agent for that dirt to collect to. So pocket lint, dirt, dust, debris, sand, whatever that might be, you lessen its impact on your pivot by using those nylon caged ceramic bearings with no lubricant in them. I'm a person that, again, being mechanically, looking at things mechanically, I always see the need for lubricant. So again, first thing I always do is put some lubricant into the pivot of my knife, and I don't really notice a huge difference in the function of these, which is great. That means that the nylon caged bearings nylon caged ceramic bearings are doing exactly what they need to be doing, dry or lubricated. So you could be a person that really goes either way, and it doesn't really matter. I am going to do an experiment with this by getting some brass caged ceramic bearings to see if there is a difference at all in the performance of this knife. I'm actually not anticipating that there will be, but it's something that I just really, really want to try. So now that we've got past the pivot part, let's talk a little bit about the fit and finish. So looking at these micarta scales, you can see I did go through and oil these. The areas that are lighter are areas that come in contact with my jeans, and the denim actually will wick or pull the oils out of it, which is why we have the darker look up here and the lighter look where it's really rubbing on the inside of my pocket quite a lot. Looking at the other side, you can see that same thing. Areas are a little bit darker over here because of the clip, and the areas that come in contact with my pants or rub up against my pants are a little bit drier. The knife looks absolutely fantastic across all planes. You can see the logo here with the Vero icon. Just absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful knife. So this is kind of just a minor first impression on the knife. I've had it for, I believe, 3 days now. It has been in my pocket every single day, and it will continue to be in my pocket every single day until my Axon arrives, which I believe, if tracking is correct, it just entered Ohio, so there is a moderate chance that it might actually arrive in hand tomorrow. So I need to make sure that I'm giving this its time before that arrives and ultimately takes over my pocket for a few days. So if you ever get the opportunity, if you're not currently a Vero owner or you don't own a Vero knife, I would highly recommend trying them. If you've had any of the other companies out there, Chris Reeve knives, Penna, Chavez, Olamic, Wee knives, anything else from Best Tech, Riot, these knives sit on their own. The design work from Joseph is impeccable. Best Tech has done a absolutely fantastic job of producing these knives. They are smooth as can be. Real finger guillotines, if you let them be. They will nick your fingernails and cut your thumbs if you are not careful. They came incredibly sharp, but if you ever have the chance, I would highly recommend buying any Vero product. Fulcrum, any of the knives, highly recommend. So really appreciate you taking the time. These videos are going to get a little bit more refined as things go along. I just wanted to get a review out there. So I appreciate you tuning in, and until next time.